But if he believed that he was Zatko Zatkovich,
right,
then he's technically not Matko Matkovich, as you say.
Right.
So if he's two different people,
right,
I kind of got to side with him on this one.
You know,
it's like Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Take it away from under 4 left. The barn is alive again.
Yeah, sports show. Got me in my hormones, all gas, no brakes, score 4-0. If you think you own this place, you get foreclosed. I've been in my head, but it's not about a T3. I'll let it learn, but there's nothing you can teach me.
This morning.
Wow. Wow. What happened?
Oh, boy.
You know, I've been on this workout kick. Forgot my phone, had to run back. This is why I work out. That was a hell of a run there.
Well, that's why you work out, because you got to be in those instances.
Yeah.
It's for game time situations.
That's what it is.
Game time. Sports show. Sports show podcast. Sports time. Game time. Sports show. Listen, you are listening to the sports show. Thank you for tuning in this week once again. Listen, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. If you haven't already, do us a couple of solids. Follow us on Instagram, please, at Sports Show Podcast. Look for the blue and white logo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're trying to push numbers here. So that's Sports Show TV on YouTube, blue and white logo. It's very simple, very fluid across the board. Download the podcast, Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, all of that jazz. CJSW 90.9 FM, where we stream the third Tuesday of every month, which we just did our show last week, which is fantastic. And
big numbers.
Big numbers. And of course, if you're a wrestling fan, subscribe to the McGuire on Wrestling podcast feed, anywhere where you stream your podcasts. We have our other show, the Alternate Commentary Table, where we record it right after this. South Carolina George is listening. He loves the show. And hey, South Carolina George, if anyone knows, he knows.
Oh, he knows.
He knows. So, merch, McGuire Show, McGuireshow.com. McGuireShow.com. You can get to our shop. We got official merch. That's for the Alternate Commentary Table. But look, all you Greeks out there, Greek World Order, GWO, shirts, mugs, hoodies, you name it. Well, not you name it, we got it. But those things, we got them.
Yeah, just ask. You want pens? We'll get you pens. Whatever you want. GWO. GWO.
That was a lot of me in that intro. Mitch, take it from here, buddy.
No,
what's happening?
So good. You know, you do that the best. I don't even try. I want you to have it nice and clean. You know what I mean?
It's 2 weeks that we've been nice to each other.
It's going to change in a few seconds. It's going to change in a few seconds.
Listen, what I've noticed is that we have, we got a lot of episodes. This is 273, I believe, under the belt right now. 275 if you include the Archives.
That's right.
And things just kind of happened the way they happened. No one asked you to be the agenda guy.
No.
It was just known that that's who you are.
That's
one asked me to be intro plug guy.
True.
It just happened.
Just happened that way. I agree.
It's crazy.
I agree.
Listen,
let's get right into it. You know me, cruising the nets. A couple of things that caught my eye. I wanted to bring it up. I thought they were kind of funny. So I don't know. In high school, like I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit jockish and just kind of. My high school wasn't big, so I was kind of cool. I had a lot of friends, all that stuff. Not to say that what I'm about to say didn't mean they didn't.
What'd you
have
play in high school? Side note.
What position?
No, like did you?
I played
you
football,
were football,
basketball.
Oh,
yeah, I had it all. Yeah, I did it all. But one thing that I would never got into, and I still to this day can't get my head around it, is band. Just can't do it. I just. Now, obviously, American Pie made it popular where band sounds cooler than I thought. Had I known band was doing that stuff in high school, I would have been there. But I wasn't ever into the band thing. But this is where I give lots of respect to band people. They're very passionate. They love what they do. Just like I liked playing football, these band guys love their thing. So much so, I saw on the internet, this conductor with the teacher of a high school band had to get tasered after a football game. He got tasered because he wouldn't stop playing. He's like,
really?
Keep going. And they turned the lights on him. Keep going. The police arrived. They're like, dude, like, it's over. Done. Keep going. Finally, the cops were like, all right, listen, we're going to taser you. And they tasered him because he wouldn't stop playing. The band. Respect to the band.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a different way to electrify the crowd. I get it. Thinking back in hindsight, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't, I played sports. I wouldn't put myself in the full jock category, but I did, outside of playing hockey, wrestling was my biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
I was a wrestler. and then volleyball for a little bit. But wrestling was more the bread and butter. You know, I'm a provincial champ.
I believe that.
You know, I was until my growth spurt happened later, and it was unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate for them.
Well, I couldn't compete. But in hindsight, what I'm saying is, I would have loved to go into band because if you think about it, all those band people in high school now, junior high school, look where they are. Still able to play the instruments and be relevant. Us, outside of beer leagues, maybe.
True.
And even then, it did nothing for us.
Good point. And, you know, I'll say this. Watch the NCAA, especially football and basketball, whatever. The bands are intense. They are into it just as much as the actual players are. They're doing formations. There's a lot to it. I'm not cutting it down. It's just, it was one of those things I thought it was the most weird thing, but as I've gotten older, I'm like, I respect the band.
I guarantee that if you took the X's and O's on a slant route from the NFL and put it up against the X's and O's of band formation, you can't tell the difference.
You can't touch it.
It's like Coke and Pepsi.
It really is.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Really?
You can't tell?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So another little story that I caught. In the UK, there was a prisoner. He was in jail for terrorist crimes. He escaped.
Okay.
He got away.
Like escape.
He escaped. They caught him. They brought him back.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
that. They try him. They're like, listen, you're gonna get an additional 5 years, 10 years because you ran. He's like, no, I plead not guilty. I didn't run away. What are you guys talking about? I was here the whole time.
It's the way you got to do things.
In this world, this is the best part. He's literally fighting, like, he's caught red-handed. They caught him in the middle of a lake somewhere, like Shawshank Redemption or something. I'm sure it was something like that.
Great movie.
And all of a sudden, he's like, no, what do you mean? I've been here the whole time. Whoever you guys caught or you think you caught wasn't me.
See, this is a pro because they have to prove it.
I guess so.
And this is the best part is they got to go. What does he got to lose?
Nothing.
Like
nothing at all.
You might as well. And you know what? It's probably like from a psychological factor.
Right.
It's a little bit of a different look for him in jail. Now he gets to get out of jail.
True.
Gets to sit in a courtroom.
Right.
He gets to kind of, he's got a couple months of a different routine.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, last one.
He's Greek for sure.
100%
For sure, he's got to be Greek.
Last one is this. MLS, Montreal, FC. They have a player named Matko Mitrovic. He got kicked off the team. Why? Why would they just terminate the contract of a guy on the MLS? Here's why. Because as you're starting to see here, there's a little bit of a formation pattern forming. This guy, he decided to join indoor soccer league, okay, under an alias, gets into a fight, spits on the guy. Then they find out that it's him. He gets kicked out of the indoor league, which he shouldn't be playing because he's a professional soccer player. And then he gets kicked out of the MLS because they find out, they're like, wait a minute, Matko, was that you? He's like, no, that was my brother, my twin, Zatko, not me. What are you talking about? So this moron wants to be such a Maga. He wants to be the Messi of indoor soccer. He goes and fakes his own name to go into indoor soccer. Then on top of it, couldn't even control his own anger, gets into a fight, spits on the guy, and somebody's like, that guy looks like that guy from the Montreal FC. And then turns out it is, and the guy's kicked out of both leagues.
So here's, I need to really be delicate what I'm about to say here right now. But if he believed that he was Zatko Zatkovic, then he's technically not Matko Matkovic, as you say.
Right.
So if he's two different people, I kind of got to side with him on this one.
You know,
it's like Bruce Wayne and Batman. How can Bruce Wayne be charged as a Batman?
True.
When he's Batman.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Listen, he probably heard the news story of the terrorist that came out. Says, yeah, that wasn't me. I wasn't there. This is what was going on.
That's hilarious.
But there's a defense case there.
That's actually a good point. Never thought of that. See, you should have been a lawyer.
You know, when I was in school, my teacher, my contract law teacher, hotel restaurant management, she said I was what they call a Philadelphia lawyer. Means you can argue anything.
I think that's what you are.
It makes for great banter on a sports show.
You're like Denzel from that movie, Philadelphia. That's good. I like that.
But yeah, think about it. Like, ladies and gentlemen of the Jerry, you are trying one Matko, but on the day in question, he was Zatko. These are two different people. I'll rest my case.
Honestly, you can't even fight it. You can't fight it. You can't fight it. All right. we're off to the NHL. And
Side note,
Yeah.
you know what me and you need to do? We got to be like, there's like Judge Judy and Judge whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine if like there was a way that we could actually have our own lawyer show.
I like this.
And have judicial authority
I think
on
we
how
could do
we
this.
see the law.
I love this idea.
Right, but
love this
and it would be up to the people coming in, being like, "Listen, you took your chances going to
Right.
to the Mitch and Dimitri courtroom."
Buddy, I love this idea.
Because then we would just go by the bro code.
We got the black robes sitting next
Yeah.
to each other. We get to have a bailiff. Bailiff, sit down. Get him sitting down. Get him to sit down.
Just think, be like, listen, legally you are entitled to that money. But it was kind of a jerk move. So court rules in favor of the defendant.
Street code. Yeah, that's right. Street justice.
Street justice. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Now you saw the last two little perusings that I did have a little bit of a theme, and that's why we're going right into the NHL. Liars, cheaters. We're off to the NHL. Mike Babcock, since last week, has resigned his position as head coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's gone because he is a scumbag. Ladies and gentlemen, last week we were on the show going, yeah, it's really weird to be asking for photos. We just don't know why you're asking for photos. And the stories broke a lot. Like everywhere you look, there was a story of some sort of shenanigans that this guy was a part of. And at the end, this is the best part. He goes, I just don't want to be an issue to the team going forward. I'm going to resign my position. I don't know who I'm more mad at now. I got to be quite honest with you. I gave a hard time to John Gaudreau last week because I'm like, he was kind of condoning it. I get it. He was trying to stick up for his team. Same with the Jenner on that team. Same thing. The veterans, they're like, guys, it's not that big a deal. Let's just move on. They were trying to throw it under the rug and we'll deal with it. Fine. That's over. I think I have more of a problem, Dimitri, with the GM. He ultimately hired the guy. Shouldn't maybe the GM get a little bit of the axe too, knowing this is why he was fired originally. 4 years later, and early on in his new career at Columbus, the guy's still a scumbag. Shouldn't he have gone up and said, hey, you know what? Get out of here. Rather than letting him resign, he should have fired him. Yes or no?
Yeah, he should have absolutely looked. Well, oh, geez, Mitch, this is a beyond tough one, right?
Yeah.
Because on the one end, yeah, you could say he should have fired him. But they didn't know. And I think this guy pulled kind of a ruse on everyone and kind of ran a game on everyone until he got caught. And I think he's just in a different NHL right now.
I'm going to tell you something. I kind of disagree with you with regards to the as I think about it and I look at it more, you like to think people have changed, but they didn't change. The guy didn't change. The guy, Dimitri, they didn't even start a preseason game yet, man.
Yeah.
And the guy's already doing his old shenanigans. You mean to tell me the GM for Columbus didn't ask at all over the last oh my God, guys, Babcock, he's available. Why don't we maybe look and bring him in? Okay, good idea. You know what? Do a quick check. I mean, he was with Anaheim. He was with Detroit. There's guys in the NHL that hate him. He was with Toronto. Why do they hate him so much? There was obviously no background check because if you hear some of the stories that are coming out now, which I'm pretty sure would have been readily available had he made a few phone calls to say, hey, what was your problem? He did what? Really? You can't hire him on that. There was no background check on this. For sure there was no background check.
Okay, the problem, okay, maybe, yeah, maybe, for sure, interviewing some players and whatnot. But at the same time, you could, if you're the GM, you might look and say, well, there's two sides to every story. Was it really that bad? And then you put it against the prospects of an Olympic gold medal winner. You put it up the prospects of a Stanley Cup winner, the opportunity, and thinking, okay, maybe it might work out. So on one end, yeah, maybe they could have done a background check, but they weren't really looking for that. And B, I don't know, that part is tough,
right,
for me, Mitch. I don't know. I don't know if they made. Yeah, they made a mistake. Obviously, we know that now. But then, But I also think this guy just kind of knew the game and kind of played a game on everyone.
Dimitri, here's the thing. You've said it, and I've been talking to some people behind the scenes as well about it. Because last week when we talked about it, I was like, you know what? What's the big deal? The guy was asking about pictures. Little did I realize the other part and why he wanted to see the pictures. Then you hear the other parts of the story, and you're like, You know what, man? This guy really should never have gotten the job. In hindsight now, obviously hindsight.
In hindsight, yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, that's not the GM. Like, dude, you work in an industry, I work in an industry. If you're hearing through the grapevine or on the streets that this guy's a fraudster, this guy's a problem, are you not going to investigate it? Because you're like, man, look at his book. Like, man, he's got a decent portfolio, or he's good at his job. He cooks a great steak. But why does he keep getting fired? Why do people not like him?
I get that, but let's take a situation same in Columbus too, a guy like John Tortorella, where if you did a background check and you asked some players and experiences, they would say, this guy's the biggest jerk I've ever worked for in my entire life. He's a this, he's a this, he's a that. And unfortunately, those are opinions.
Right.
You can't, someone's opinion of how they feel about someone else, that's all it is. It's not a fact. Oh, he's not a factual jerk, because then there's the other side. It was like, I never had a problem with him. I didn't, the blah, blah. And it's kind of, in sports, there's a hierarchy and a chain of command. And so the people that you're asking on the player side are really what you value as your top players, I assume, and say, hey, what are your thoughts of this happening? Or, GMs and personnel. But what background check could they have done?
But how about this?
Like, Mitch, this is the thing.
Yeah.
What background check could he have done?
Here's a simple question.
He roasted Mitch Marner.
Okay, here's a simple question. Watch this. I'm the GM for Columbus. I turn around, I'm like, hey, listen, sit down, let's have a conversation.
Right.
What are your thoughts on mental and physical torture? I love it. Okay, listen, we can't hire you. Because the thing is, it's like, the reality is this guy can't help himself, it sounds like. He is like crazy egomaniac, this dude.
Yeah,
man.
but I'm sure they asked, this is my point, right?
Right.
This guy's obviously a manipulator, okay?
Sure.
If you look at the behavior, all he is a big manipulator. And so when you get to the GM level, he's lying on his resume.
Obviously.
And they're saying, hey, what about this situation, that situation? Listen, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. You got to remember, those GMs and coaches, that's a club in itself.
Sure it is.
Right? So they kind of have this, they're on that side of the fence, Mitch.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you're right. The way Babcock explains it, these whiny players sometimes.
Yeah,
this generation, like Mitch Marner, okay. So you got lambasted because you thought so-and-so was terrible at hockey, and they... he sold it to them.
But here's the thing. Okay, well, you're right, Dimitri. Here's the last one. So he's sitting in the interview room, and let's say the GM says, okay, quick question, Mike. Why did you get him to rank? I mean, he was a rookie. Why did you get him to rank? And why did you say it to everybody? I know a lot of people can talk themselves out of a jam. I get it.
Right.
Okay? But Dimitri, at the same time, I don't think the guy asked any question. I think what happened was he goes, guys, there's a guy that's been in the Stanley Cup Finals. He's won the Stanley Cup. He's been out of the game for 4 years. He's analyzed everything.
Yeah.
And they got hot and heavy without asking the big questions. So, I mean, I digress.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not. All I'm saying is I don't know how hard you can be on the GMs at the point of sale. And at least they're willing to say that they made a mistake.
But he really didn't. If you read the presser, they are trying to, in a roundabout way, going, you know what? It's unfortunate. Yeah, we move on. They didn't really. No one ever apologized.
The one guy.
Connor Bedard this week, first game in the Chicago Blackhawks jersey. He goes, you know what? I'm going to show everyone why I was the first overall pick and why everyone thinks I'm the next Crosby or I'm the next McDavid. Did you see the goals that he put in? Dimitri, my question, very simple, is like, is this guy in a category on his own, or are we is he going to be the next McDavid? Like this, it was pretty impressive, man. Like those goals alone, what he's able to do so quickly. Like, what's up with this guy, man?
So, I think he's an undeniable talent, a complete undeniable talent. However, if I was him,
right,
I would have played a little possum in the preseason.
You think so?
Yeah, because now he's a mark.
Right.
Now they're like, oh, okay, kid, okay. You want to do your dilly daddle?
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Shift 1.
Yeah.
Get it. I don't care what you do. Get after him. I would have, played a little, played a little possum.
Little hack the bone.
Little hack the bone. Little bit. Little possum. Little possum.
I hear you.
But yeah, no. Look, he's an undeniable talent. I mean, I know junior to NHL is a massive leap. They are completely two different games. We all know that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's kind of doing this and he's given a bit of a show, and we're going to see some of it, right? It's just a matter of how he transitions initially. And I think what's going to happen is even if he has slow production in the first part of his NHL career, everyone's got to lay off. He's got to learn a little bit too. Kind of what happened with Crosby. Remember when Crosby came in, everyone just went on the attack?
Yeah. What's your expectations? Like 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 plus points this year? What are you thinking?
I think for him, the expectation is 80 and up, yeah.
80 and up, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. To your point, it's also like who's on your team. You need some help, right? And that's where I'm kind of curious to see. I know he's got Taylor Hall there and so on and so forth, but I don't know if they have enough. I think a successful season for this guy and let Chicago build on him, I'd say it's 60 to 70 is a good, like if he's not a point per guy this year, I'd be okay with it. But if he's in the 60s, I'm more worried that he won't get there. Like that's where, because the Chicago team's pretty decimated. There's like no one on this team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But you know what? I also have to point something else out is that it's easier to get points in the NHL nowadays.
Right.
Right. As it was, let's say 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's say 20 years ago. We okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, Crosby and Malkin got 100.
Yeah, that's true. They're a pretty good duo.
McDavid, I have to look up what McDavid got in his first year.
Right.
But McDavid was not shy of getting points. And so if you're going to compare someone to a generational rookie, no, in my mind, 50, 60 is not good enough. Didn't Bernier's last year do that?
Yeah.
That's not good enough for me. So
I hear you.
If you're going to be that guy, actually, I'm saying 80 and up is good, but the expectation should be, you should be pulling your 90 if you really want to be in the mix of those guys.
Obviously, the guy's got the talent to do it, but he also needs a little help. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it with that team. Give him some players, get him some acquisitions. Yeah, okay, 90's there for sure. Based on what I saw, just YouTube it if you didn't see his goals. They were like, the shot alone was something that, like, out of a matrix. It was unbelievable. Like, hockey players are actually going, what was that? It was unbelievable.
You know what I like about him? And see, we probably got to move on here pretty quick, eh? You know what I like about him is that he is the product of the how do I put this? What they're teaching players in the young system to improve the game of hockey.
Yes.
Like the way he shoots the puck and releases is almost like this is the new way now you do things. Of how you shoot the puck, of how you release the puck. That's what I like seeing. So there's going to be more of this coming up now.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice.
Lastly, in the NHL, I got to talk about it. The Boston Bruins, they lost Patrice Bergeron, Mr. Selke. Bergeron. He retired. He said, hey, I've done my part. I've won this award like 6 times.
And he's still going to win the Selke next year.
Hey, somehow he's going to still win it. So they needed a new captain. Now the Luch went there. There was some idea. Does the Luch get the C? No. They give it to the little ball of hate. The second little ball of hate. They had to give it to him. What are your thoughts on giving it to the man, Brad Marchand?
Yeah, it's the right move.
I agree. A lot of people are up and down because of, who he is and what he does in the game, sometimes licking players and gouging their face and stuff. I love it, and I'll tell you why. Last year, Boston was the #1 regular season team, right? Broke the records, blah, blah, blah. They didn't win the cup. Get knocked out in the first round. But this team now has a new identity. They're a new team. They're not going to be as good as they were last year. And they got to go out and tell everyone, hey, we're that nasty team that is going to eye gouge you. We're the Ric Flairs of the NHL. I love it. I think, yes, he was the right choice. I couldn't agree more.
Listen, you don't give the captain, a team like that's been intact for quite some time.
Right.
They kind of have their own little bubble in there, right? Even with the new players. But you don't give a captaincy to a guy that's not respected in the dressing room.
True. Also true.
So they know that. The other thing is you got to give it to a guy who's going to be somewhat of a career guy. At least you hope. That's him. And the other thing I'll defend Marchand is his antics lately are much different than his antics when he first came in.
Oh, sure.
Right.
He's still a little troublemaker, but that's the
he's a troublemaker, but he's a respectable troublemaker.
But everyone likes him.
They like him.
I agree. Let's jump over to the NFL real quick. Listen, we're off to week 3. There's a lot of teams that are still 0-2, haven't won, and the one in particular, the Cincy, the Broncos, the Pats, the Texans, the Cards, the Bears, and the Panthers, all still 0-2. But Cincy 0-2, and they don't really look like the team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They don't look like a team that's being led by now the second highest paid quarterback in the league, granted. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes getting his money because he deserves it. But is Cincy in trouble, bro? I think Cincy's in a little trouble, if you ask me. I think so.
Week 1, we brought it up. Is Cincy in trouble? The answer was no. Now and then week 2, they lose. Now in week 3, I'm going to say yes. Because I don't know. Like, I know that Burrows came out and said, when you don't do preseason or you get reps, it's hard to get in form. I buy that argument.
Yeah.
I fine. But I think he's still hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that's a problem. If he's a problem, then the Bengals are a problem. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Like, they got a lot of good pieces. Yes,
Great
of course,
pieces.
But you need that quarterback, and you need him, and I think he's still hurt. And I don't think it's a matter of reps. I think he's playing through that. I think it's his calf.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But it's also, I've said this about the NFL for years, Dimitri. When a defense or a team really looks at you, they can figure you out. It's one of those, what have you done for me lately leagues. And you know how, like, a couple of years ago, the Rubik's Cube, everyone was like, I don't know, I can't figure. Now everyone knows the algorithm, right?
Gotcha.
I feel like the NFL defensive coordinators have figured out the algorithm when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals. And to your point, you're absolutely right. He's probably not 110%.
Yeah, I agree. You're right on that one, but they're also a good team, and so they can move the ball around, right?
Well, I'd like to see them move. Are you okay? You've been really
buddy,
rubbing the nose.
I got a bleeding nose.
Oh, is that a bleeding nose you got?
Yeah, I got a bleeding nose.
You're bleeding in the sports show. That's the truth. You know what? And you're fighting through it.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, does he got the COVID across from
No,
me?
why do you think I muffled the beginning of the Babcock question? I was like testing my nose. I'm like, shit, that's blood. Right?
What
so
happened?
Amy,
did you take a mic to the face? What happened? You okay?
Well, I took a punch to the face 3 weeks ago.
And that's what this is
in
about.
The boxing. But yeah, well, I went and I got that. I got Securus, or anyways,
Sure.
It's like a gel.
Uh-huh.
I went to the doctor. It's dry as heck.
Right.
It's just dry as heck, so it's just not healing.
Really dry here
It's
in
not,
Calgary.
buddy. The bleeding nose lasts like 2 seconds. It's just more me like
You're
just
just
being
doing that.
like
Oh.
it literally lasted.
So you're okay then?
I'm okay now,
thank
but it
God.
just I'm feeling it, and I just don't want to. It's a nice jacket.
I was ready to
So
call
Amy,
off the jet.
no, like that's why you're like, why am I doing it? I'm not running rails on the show, buddy. It's the morning.
Well, first, yeah, and so what? Who cares? I was about to get mad. Why didn't you offer? Okay, last thing in the NFL, real quick. I said there's 0-2 teams. There's 2-0 teams. Who's the best team in the NFL going into Week 3 right now? You got Philly, you got a little Dallas and San Fran, and dare I say the Dolphins.
I'm glad you brought them up.
Thank you.
Because, there's a lot of good. I'll tell you, it's not the best team. It's the team that's impressing me the most.
Okay.
Is the Dolphins.
Yes.
I want to talk about them, so thank you for bringing it up.
That's what I
They're
do.
impressing me the most. So what I learned is that Tua is a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
What I also learned is that Tyreek Hill is a monster.
100%.
And is the best wide receiver in the league. Full stop. I don't want to hear any other debate. You can't run to Kansas City with a good quarterback and make him look like a star. You can't run now to the Dolphins, make that guy not make him look like a star, but look, this is just what I learned. Tua's the real deal.
Yep.
Dolphins, credit for you to sidelining him for the season and fixing up his helmet and protecting this guy. Smart. It's worth it. And Tyreek Hill's a beast. The defense is in check. The coaching,
yeah.
They got the best of the young guys behind the helm.
I'll tell you right now, McDaniels is the coolest and best coach in the NHL.
Because of the Capris.
NFL, pardon me.
Because of the Capris.
The Capris, his attitude, I just love it all.
Yeah.
It's my style. I am really impressed by the Dolphins, but the best team in the NFL right now, most people are going to say, well, it's got to be San Fran. No, not yet. There's something... I'm not saying they're bad. They're going to be in the NFC Championship for sure. They're a great team, and they're only getting better. But it's Dallas. If Dallas goes this week and wins 3-0, man, that defense on Dallas, Parsons alone, is the new Lawrence Taylor. This guy's taking over games. He's throwing guys around like the rag dolls. And as long as Dak Prescott just does what he needs to do, and CeeDee Lamb and Pollard just do their little thing, I think Dallas is the best team in the NFL. The PZ is going to love this part of the pod, but I'm telling you right now, Dallas right now I think is the strongest, and they are taking no prisoners.
Look,
Just saying.
it's amazing that in the NHL and the NFL, and what's the date today? Today's what's what do we have?
22nd?
September 23rd.
23rd.
September 23rd.
Sure.
Write this down.
Write that. I'm going to write this.
There are a couple teams that are blue and white.
Right.
Blue and silver, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
That are just almost there.
Right.
But they have a reputation for always falling short.
I'm listening.
Again, I'm not going to pre-call anymore because I'm just going to let it ride. But September 23rd, we're going to go back to this segment here. Here's the thing with Dallas. Here's the thing. The Ezekiel Elliott move is bigger than people realize. And I think for the first time, Dallas is going through this Dallas team for the first time represents team more than players to me.
Right.
For a very, very, very long time.
Yes.
And so Ezekiel Elliott, yeah, he wasn't cutting it. Yeah, they got Pollard. Yeah, that's great. They had a succession plan. But now it's not about Dak and Zeke. Now it's about the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
And there's a different vibe to this team this year.
Yeah.
And a little less pressure. This is what I like about them. They might just be the best team in the NFL. You might be right, Mitch. Philly is
They're still there.
To be the man, you got to beat the man in the NFC. Woo! But yeah, buddy, Dallas is scary.
Yeah.
The thing with San Fran, I'm not loving the Purdy this year.
No, I disagree. I think Purdy's doing great. You know what it is? I think people are still nervous because he's undefeated in the regular season. He's 8 straight wins, right? Eventually, he's going to lose a game. He is. The thing is, I think everyone's worried. Is he going to get hurt again? And when he falls, how badly will he fall? Because he's Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick of the draft. Everyone's going, there's no way he can keep this heater up. I don't know. He's keeping it pretty good. Not bad.
He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Don't mistake me what I'm saying. But it's
I know what you mean. I do get what you're saying.
The plane's not sailing so smooth.
There was a few plays on Thursday night. He sailed the ball around. I was like, dude, where did the ball go? But we sit here. We armchair quarterback, if you will.
And we have that right. We're fans.
We're fans. Speaking of fans, I'm 2-0 in my picks for the 5-star pick of the week. But this week, Dimitri, you didn't know this. I didn't get a chance to tell you. Old cousin Jim. Speaking of heaters, smashed last week. $1,000. Big win.
Boom!
So I've changed his name. He's now the special advisor to the sports show. Just like the Shane Dones.
We were looking for one.
We looked for one.
We want one.
He dubbed himself. I will now accolade and give him the title special advisor to the sports show.
Special advisor to the sports show, old cousin Jim.
Hey,
what took us so long?
It was sitting right there in front of us.
Oh, geez.
Any guy that could do a charcuterie like that, and we didn't see it.
And you know what I love is that he went and he took the position. He didn't just wait on the sideline to get tapped on the shoulder.
Good point.
He said, you know what? No, I am right for this job.
That's right.
I'm telling you.
He made his own key cards, everything. He's got access. He got his own email, everything.
I like it.
So he calls me and he goes, hey, I'm gonna give you the pick of the week. 5-star pick of the week. I said, 5 is mine. The moneymaker's yours. He's the 6-star pick of the week.
Whoa!
So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the 6-star pick of the week. Take Jacksonville to cover -8 this week. They lost to KC last week. They're taking on Houston. They usually have some problems with Houston, but Houston's not Houston anymore. Jacksonville at home -8. Put your house on it. Okay, don't put your house on it. Just joking. Don't put your house on it. I'm joking around. Are you crazy to put your house on it? $5.
I love it. It's
$5.
not bad.
It's all right.
You know, it's not bad. I mean, sure, you can make maybe a couple cents here.
Couple bucks.
A couple bucks there.
Right.
But if you want to make money, then you need a money-making matchup. And the one this week, my friends, is the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh.
I'll go so far as take the 8 points, give me Baltimore and the over.
What?
Parlay the Ravens.
Boom!
Of course, that's subject to change if Lamar Jackson is not actually eligible to play due to a stinger in his finger.
That's it. Beautiful. From there, we go to everyone's favorite segment. It's Rapid Banter. Ronaldo might make his WWE appearance at the Crown Jewel with John Cena. Who's more popular, John Cena, Ronaldo, or The Rock?
Ronaldo, Messi, WrestleMania 40.
Oh my God. I'm writing that down. Shadur Sanders is the quarterback for the Colorado Buffalo. That's Deion's son. They're 3-0 at the moment in NCAA. They're on fire. Everyone's talking about them. He drives around a Bentley. Who will be the first team? Who will be the team that beats him first? Oregon or the IRS?
Oh, it's the IRS.
How does a kid have a Bentley? And you guys were all fighting me for years where I said they shouldn't get paid. Now they're getting paid. He better be declaring Shadur
Shadur.
With recent merger of UFC and WWE, what is your dream mix matchup?
Oh, I like that. Okay. Brock Lesnar versus Brock Lesnar.
Swear to God. What do I have written right there?
Shut up.
What does it say right there?
I can't see it.
Look, people, what did
I don't have my glasses.
I even wrote it in for myself.
What's it say? Hold on a second.
Brock versus Brock. What the hell?
It's too much, man.
What the hell?
It's too much. Call it quits.
All right, last one, man. What is a cooler sports celebration? High stepping or bat flip?
The high step bat flip.
Brock versus Brock.
This is getting too creepy.
Are you sure you didn't see my notes?
I swear.
Say, swear to God, you didn't see my notes.
My stuff, but I swear to God, I didn't see your notes. It's rapid banter. I never see your notes.
I thought I had the inside. Brock versus Brock. Brilliant. Look at this. This is creepy, man. All right, last thing. Here we go. We're on to Maga Malaka.
We got the next show, man.
You know, as I was talking about Mike Babcock,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you convinced me. Maybe he was misunderstood.
Sure.
You know, it could happen. Maybe he just wanted to see it. But there's a lot of coaches that seem to have been misunderstood.
Right, a lot of
it's
coaches.
Maga Malaka, misunderstood professional sport coaches. There we go. John Gruden, Maga or Malaka?
I got to go Maga. I love the Grudes.
Yeah, he's got to just watch his mouth.
Just watch
and
his
stop
mouth.
writing emails. That's really
Maybe let the email go.
Yeah, not nice. Pete Rose.
Oh, Maga, come on.
Now, here's the thing. He's betting that you're a winner. What's wrong with that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a guy who really believes in his team.
Yeah.
Shame on all of you.
In fact, not that he's believing, he's putting money on you.
Shame on us.
Shame on all of us. Urban Meyer, Maga or Malaka?
You know, I got to go Maga again. I mean, what you want from a coach is
Right.
to resonate with the younger crowd.
True.
And Urban Meyer can do that.
He can. The only thing I would say is get to know some players. Like when you're approached by your defensive coordinators and offensive coordinator, and they're like, hey, Aaron Donald, he might be Aaron who? I'm sorry? What?
Right.
If you don't know who the best player literally in the NFL was during that time you were there, could be a problem. I'm going to say Malaka, but I see what you're saying. Down the middle.
We don't need the lap dance around the subject.
What about classy Freddie Glassy? Maga or Malaka? Like, I know he was more of a manager, but coach. I put him in as coach.
You know what? I'm going to say Malaka. I actually don't even know what he really brought to the table.
I'm not sure either. I liked his cane, though. I liked the cane.
It was a good cane.
Say Daryl Sutter. Yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah.
Maga or Malaka?
Yeah, Maga.
Maga.
It's called Stanley Cups.
Yeah. Two more. PJ Carlissimo. He's the guy that got choked out by Latrell Sprewell, if you remember.
Oh, that's the guy or whatever. Yeah, Malaka. Why you got upset the Sprewell?
Well, this is the thing. Is it Sprewell's fault that you had a nice neck? He just wanted to reach out and touch it.
Yeah. He was trying to grab you by the collar. It's not my fault you got a weird looking neck. His hand slipped.
He's like, whoops.
And then Sprewell was falling.
Your tie is untied. Let me grab that for you.
And then he slipped.
He slipped
on the slick floor.
Right.
And he grabbed onto the neck.
And choked. And held it there because now he's worried that he unstabilized your neck.
That's right.
And he held it there for a little while.
Exactly.
Yeah. Only when you turn blue did he realize.
Then he played indoor soccer,
yeah.
spit on a coach, and escaped from jail.
Last one. This guy might have been the most misunderstood guy. Bobby Knight. Maga or Malaka?
Come on, man. I'm finding a hard time with this list. Why everyone had so much controversy?
I agree. Listen, Bobby Knight might be Greek. In all honesty, all jokes aside, that's passion. Throwing chairs, you know, again, choking players that were wearing ties. He was just going, listen to me. I'm a good coach. I can make you better. I want to see you in the NBA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all we got.
Spot Show.
Episode 273. Thank you very much. We got to wrap it up here. We got to do an episode of the alternate commentary table next for the Mike McGuire. Let me thank you. Roster, we love you. YouTube, Instagram, please follow and subscribe. It would help us out. Share with a friend. Replay those videos. Get those metrics up. We're back online. One for the books. We got to shove it in the locker. We got to hit the showers.
I'd say even the John Tortorella. That's a good one. Maga there.
Yeah, John Tortellini's. Ow!
Hey, Paul Heyman. Maga. Stop.
You know what I loved yesterday? He came out with like no music.
How about the blue pinstripes?
This guy.
Thank you.
This guy.
Thank you.
Is absolutely worth it.
Between this and them, now you about to win this. Well, freedom is so now I tell that girl get on my
GSW,
business.
we're Saved by the Bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.